So how many different Super Bowl scores did I make so far? Well, about a handful, because the idea is, before that game starts on Sunday, this is where it really counts to be hot or cold. When I'm throwing these numbers up and wondering which ones are going to stick or not. So to start out with, from the highest to the lowest, and remember that it's from high to low. Any answered prayer will be appreciated. Not that it can be answered directly, because this is the portion where you got to be hot or cold to be able to get it. I wouldn't be able to predict anything without the help of other people who already know what the score is going to be. Whether you're the one creating it, or you're a time traveler, or you're a creator of us, and we're in a matrix, and you already know the beginning from the end of everybody here on planet Earth. So from the first pick to the last pick, and from the highest to the lowest score. First pick, 44 to 31. It's 44, subtract the 13 points to get you 31. And then that's the score of the Super Bowl. And then whoever you pick, obviously I'm picking the Eagles because I'm seeing that the Eagles are just going to win. It's their time to win in the Bible, what they represent. And it's time for the Chief to not win, or just assist. It's time for the Chief to assist the Eagle in his landing properly. So the one was, but that's a high scoring game. That's 75 point game, pretty high scoring. It would consist of at least like 4 touchdowns for the Chiefs, 1 field goal, and then 44 you might have to get like 3 field goals or something in that number. Let me think about it. Yeah, it would be 3 field goals and 5 touchdowns for the Eagles. If the score was 44 to 31, it's 5 touchdowns, 5 crossings, and 3 crowns. But if you reverse that, it wouldn't line up with 44 points if it was the crown was a touchdown, because it really, to get a crown, that's the main thing you're looking for. The crossing, not so much. You're basically kicking a dead sheep through the field goal. So, and then the other team would have to score for 31. It would be 4 touchdowns and one field goal. Therefore, it would be 9 touchdowns altogether and 4 field goals. That would be a really high scoring game. That's the top pick, the highest pick, and the first pick since I started. Second pick going down the line. And then whatever the answer is, I would just look for symbolisms to match up with that whatever number pick is. Let's say I have 6 picks and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it was the third pick, then I would hear a lot of references towards that number, whether things add up to that number or that it's a repeated session, repetition, intensity. It'll reverse engineer my previous prediction to get it right. just trying to get it right. I'm just trying to hear from my dad. So, and then the next one would be, I'll try to take 5 minutes explaining each one if I can. The next one would be Eagles 44 and the Chiefs 13, and that would equal, did I say 58 the last video? 13 and 44. I meant 57. So 44 to 13, because Andrew Pardon's phone, it 5 years ago, before he went off to England as Prince Williams, one of the because you know what I realized too, you know how sheep, they go bah, and if your battery keeps dying, you're like, my battery life keep going 44% to 13. How convenient. Do you got that thing plugged into your cell phone? Is that what it is? Yeah, I can tell. So before that took place, Andrew's cell phone would die to 44 to 13%, and a couple times he would let you know it had 44%. And when you're looking on that the landscape Google Maps at my hospital, as he was saying, he did a search for Robin Henry Tees with the birth date June 28th, because I was born there at that hospital, and you know, whether I'm a chip baby or my evil doppelganger is a clone from the circumcision, and he's actually the one without the brain, and he's actually the one without the heart, and he's actually the one that tried to take my birthright. So, and then trying to trick me with the picture. So that heliport has the number 44, and then the other hospital where I thought I should have been born at, because I was closer, has the 8.5 across the top from left to right, and then 8.5 across the left-hand side from top to bottom on the left, and then at the bottom is 50. So I was thinking maybe that's the over-under, or maybe it's just the fact that the next day the $50 bill prophecy unfolds at 888 17th and JFK, because it has 3 8s on that building. Which, you know, if a score does have 24 points worth of field goals, and I'll get to that at the last pick, then, or you know, it can still be however many picks I have, 1 2 3 4 5 maybe, it could still be or other, and I'll hear more, it's other, Robin, it's other, it's still other, you didn't get it yet. And I'll know when the other twin will try to pretend to be the other twin, and maybe it might steer me in a different direction if I am right, or they just may both want me to get it, because it's time to get it anyway. 44 to 13 would be 2 field goals for Kansas City and a touchdown. And again, it would still be 3 field goals and 5 touchdowns for the Eagles. And the total would be 57 points, just like Super Bowl 57. The other one would be, the first pick would be 75 points, mirrored from Super Bowl 57. But that's a really high scoring game. And World War III is right around the corner, so I got to keep that in mind too. When it comes to World War III pertaining to a Super Bowl game, if it was to start the next day or something, because it's a war about the number 3, where there's 3 8s on 17th and JFK. The timing of the explosion is 3 5s, 5:55, and then even if the score was 15 to 16, And again, that's another score down at the last one of the last picks. So far I'm going from top to bottom, the highest and the first. So even if you want to go, if I get 5 picks, the highest, so it's hot, the lowest is cold, and the middle one would be warm. And then it would be, so the warm one would be 3 warm, toasty toaster ovens or something. If it was 3 and it was, or if it was 5 and it was cold, if it was the 5th one and it was cold, then I would see like 5 icicles somewhere. You get what I'm saying, right? I'm trying to use a double number letter ratio. A, B, C, D, E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First pick, A. A1. A1 is 44 to 31. B2 is 44 to 13. C3 would be 31 to 13. C3 31-13, because that is 4 touchdowns for the Eagles and one kick, and then it's still 13. If you notice, I didn't change that number yet. I didn't change the Chiefs number yet, 13. So that'd be 31 to 13. That's the mirrored image. It's the C. It's the middle one. It's 3. It's my 3rd pick. It's a mirrored image. It's 13 mirrored to 31. Gematria, something along this kind of birth date or something. I like that pick because it's a mirrored image, and the total point scored is 44. 44 with both teams having 1 and a 3 in it. And it would be a combined 5 touchdowns, which would be 35 points, which is also 3 5s. 5 for 5:55 in the morning on Route 3. And then it would also be 3 field goals. 3 field goals, which is 9 points. So it's 9 points out of field goals, which would mean 9. That would mean, if you go by the sheep field goal head kicking ratio, you got the Deviant brothers that come up from the ground, that commercial, the Zion commercial or whatever it is. If you notice, they're kicking heads. They're kicking sheep's heads. And sheeps are also known to be, if the spirit of Satan is dwelling in you, and you're basically, the spirit is the swine. It goes into the swine of the sheep. The swine would be representing the liar of the sheep system. And but obviously the sheep system is about killing the male component and inverting it, and doing away with the male altogether, turning to female. And so that's the 3rd one, and that would line up with the 44, the envelope that's at the heliport where I'm at. And then the 13 would be where the chief is, the elephant in the room over there at the Lakeland, it may even represent, with the L at the Lakeland football field, El, the Almighty God. It could represent that 1, Satan sits on a throne, calls himself God, or 2, it is the one that runs heaven And the other one that runs the pit is the twin brother that's kind of mad at his brother for dividing the house up, because now it can't stand. But you got to take it to the all the way to the end anyway. So it could represent that, where, or it is who is the Almighty God that's in charge, and what he does is, because he's the chief, he now has to hand it over to the eagle, because the eagle, representing Christ, is the one that comes down and devours it takes the Super Bowl trophy up. It's the winner. So because it matches the 44 and the 13 on both heliports, and because that heliport at Lakeland has 2 8 and 5s, which you can add it together, which is 13, 8 and 5, then both 13s, one of them would be, you add the 13, or you subtract the 13 from Super Bowl 57, and it'll get you 44, and then subtract 13 from the total score 44, and that'll get you what the Eagles score, 31-13. So 13-31 Eagles. If you notice, I'm picking the Eagles all the way through, so if it's other, then all the picks would be wrong. A1, 2B or not 2B, or B2, or 1A, or A1, or C3 or 3C. I see three unclean frogs. Now the fourth pick would be, the total is 31. The total is 31. And there's going to be two different numbers for that, or two different scores from the 31 total package. And I can only go at 5 and see where it goes, because now it's D4 and E5 or 5E or 4D. Maybe there's 4D batteries somewhere. Maybe there's 5 E and 5 E's. Something that has 5 E's. My name has 2 E's in the last name of it. So 31 total. Well, that's looking like it's going to be more of a World War III of field goals. So now I'm getting down to the field goals, where it's a battle. The whole game is a battle through field goals. It's not very fun when everybody's kicking field goals, because you want to see the game just open up wide, you just want to see like a blowout or touchdowns, or just more. It's more fun to watch. So the combination of that 31, well, let's say my one theory is still correct. It's going to be 6-9 at halftime. And if you do it right, the Chiefs would have 6 and the Eagles would have 9, in order to have it from left to right on the scoreboard, considering the Eagles are representing the home team, because they're giving a point. I think they're giving a point and a half. So when you start getting down this low and the point spread is 49.5 or 49, but the Eagles are giving 1.5, you need to ask yourself, with the fourth pick, you need to ask yourself, how will the Chiefs lose by 1 point? Think about it like that. If they're given 1.5, that means the Chiefs are going to lose by 1 point. But if you pick the Chiefs, you're still going to win even though you're going to lose. So it's like a bittersweet. If you're a Chiefs fan and you're like, you know what? I got to pick the Eagles over. I got to pick the Eagles. No, wait a minute. No. You're going to have to pick yourself because, or if you're an Eagles fan and you're thinking, I want to bet the Eagles, but I can't because, yeah, they're going to win, but I have to actually bet for the Chiefs. Think about the struggle, the mental struggle someone has to go through. If you're a diehard Eagles fan and you want to bet money on them, but the point spread is 1.5, and you believe it's going to be a really tight game, well, let me explain how this game could be tight in my fourth pick of D4. So in the D4 script that I'm offering to the angel of the bottomless pit who already knows the end of the score because it's been written. If I had a fourth pick and the total score would be 31 points, and I'm taking in consideration all the World War III rumors of wars coming, and with this major event that's going to dominate the world being a war, a battle of the three World War III point of the two best teams in the world, 3-point war battle between the both of them, a 3-point world war battle, the battle of the 3-pointers. So how many dead sheep can you kick through the goalpost, the cross? Because now I'm flipping it the other way. Now the cross means the field goal, and the crown means 7 points when you get a 7-point crown. And this starts with out of the 4 out of the 5 options that I'm picking here. That way I can be hot or cold, upload it, see where it goes, or it's the 6th and none of the above. I'm still not right. Now, maybe I'm warm, maybe it's more hot, maybe it's more cold. If it's cold, it'll be somewhere up in the beginning, it'll be somewhere up in the number 1. If I'm really cold, I'll see the number 1 a lot, even though it's like the opposite of normally hot would be number 1, the number 1 hot artist pick, but I'm doing it reverse in order to see what sticks. That way the spirit knows what I'm looking for, and I know it can't be anything direct, but I know that when the attention is drawn to it and I'm supposed to see it, whoever's delivering that message from the same spirit knows how to communicate. So, because I want God to know, and I want to hear it. I want you to hear it from the clouds on that day. I want you to hear it loud and clear, and I want to be able to show it. I want to be able to get it and then show it after the fact, and let it just be loud and clear that the communication was dead on. So, World War III is a battle of the number 3. It's this 3 thing. Yes, it still can pertain to 31 tanks being sent over, because that could be the 31 points total and stop counting from that point on. But it could also mean 31 tanks for that one team, And either one of those teams could be the Chiefs or the Eagles scoring the number 31. I have both of them in the score of 31, just different scenarios. 6-9 halftime. I believe both scenarios, D and E, are able to have 6-9 halftime scores, just to keep that going, because it'll still be said that it's a battle of the field goals so far. It's a perfect segue to go into the Super Bowl, because if it's 6-9 at halftime and I still have a possibility of getting the score correct, and it's looking, like that, oh man, that first 6th and 7th into the 8th hour should be very bright for me, but dim for very dark for the ones that think I'm just talking into the wind. Because this is what it's all about. I believe this is it. This is the time to get it. I got the Eagles last when they won before. The theme that they were going to come from behind and win with Nicky Foles, be down in the fourth quarter, and that's exactly what they were down 1 point with about 2 minutes and 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. So it was 33-32, or 33-30, something like that, yeah, because they scored, or it was 32-33, or they were up, whatever. They won. And I said, if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, it's a clear sign the world's going to end. I just didn't know I meant 5 years later. I was ahead of time. All right, so what's the damn score, Robin? Well, if it's 6-9, and that's already, that's already 5 field goals. Now, the idea is to get 8 field goals. I'm looking for 8 field goals in this number spread of 31 points. Because it's 8 3-point field goals. It's a 3-pointer every time you kick it and make it. And that represents the 3/8 of Jonathan Kleck's name and gematria, and the 3/8 in the $50 bill that explosion's looking like at 17th and JFK, Chase Bank, chasing the money, because everybody is chasing this jackpot. All right, so let's just say it's a tie. They tied it up. Now it's 9-9. First it's 3-0. It's either 3-0 Chiefs, Eagles, or 0, or Eagles, Chiefs, 3. That way it's a 3-0 or a 0-3. I like the 3-0 because it does the 30 years. It's the Christ ministry. And then the Eagles tie it up and it's 3-3. So there's your 33. And that's the zip code in Florida, the beginning of it, 33. It's from head to tail, from the Eagles to the tail. In Isaiah chapter, or Isaiah 9:6 or 9, I think it's that. Up or taking the root, the head, the tail, destroying it. We're giving a son. We're giving a the son is born or something. Then Eagles score. It's 6. Now it's 3-6. So you got your 3 6s. You're 18. Mark 18. Then it's 6-6 to get your 66 books. Where's Robin's book at? Where's the 66 books? Where's Robin? Those 66 standing with Jacob's story with Thomas James. He was there with the 66 judges. So maybe his reading was about the combination of all the 66 together. Maybe Robin doesn't actually have a book. Robin's book is to combine all 66 together. So it's tied up at 9-9. Or, you know, it's 6-9 at halftime. And they get to keep showing you it's 6-9, 69, 6 to the 9th hour. You're already, if the prediction comes true, then you're going to see darkness all the way from the 6th to the 9th hour, play-by-play. That's my goal. My goal is to give you play-by-play before they play each play. The only way I can do that is if I'm hearing the spirit correctly. So I'm trying my hardest to just focus in and hear it. But I have to do it like this. I have to put it in the title, put the score, let it filter through, and then in the end, before the game, finally pick one and say that's the one right there. There you go. I'm going with this, my final pick. So it's 9-9 in the one scenario. Oh, wait a minute. 9. If it's 6-9 in the one scenario, and let's just say whether it's 6-9 Eagles, Chiefs, either the Eagles have 6 or the Chiefs have 6, or the Eagles have 9 or the Chiefs have 9. If the Eagles have 9 points, and then they score 2 more field goals, then that would get them 15 points. However, if the Chiefs have 5 field goals, which is 15 points, and then the Eagles have 3 field goals as of right now. 3 field goals, 9 points, 15-9. In order to win the game, they would have to score 7 points. So they would have to get a touchdown in the end. If you get a touchdown in the end, when it's a battle of the World War III, it's pretty intense, but for the fans, for both sides, which is it's not good for the heart. So you can say that it's a battle of the field goals, and the Chiefs, they got 15 points. They have the exact amount of points that Mahoney has. His number is 15. Now remember, Jalen Hurts, his number is number 1. Mahoney is number 15. When you're +1 of Mahoney, as they show them side by side, the number 1 and number 15, well, that could represent, 31 points total. And that one touchdown that the Eagles do get in dramatic fashion in the end of the game, because the Chiefs are up 15-9, because it was 6-9 at halftime. So if the Chiefs have 6 and the Eagles have 9 at halftime, then the Chiefs can score 15, get the number of Mahoney, the quarterback, so they're giving you their score with his football number attached to his jersey. That would be the 15. And then you could say towards the end of the game, it's looking like this ain't good, because the Chiefs are rolling down the field, and they're running out the clock, and they're getting ready to basically spike it and then kick their field goal in the end. And then this could be where it goes. Well, it's not could be. This is my fourth option script that I'm just handing and saying, look here. I'm saying it definitive because I am definitively explaining my fourth out of fifth script that I'm presenting to you, Satan. Here's my fourth script. In my fourth script, I have it like this. The Eagles are down by 6 points. And the Chiefs are going down the field. It's been a war. It has been a defensive battle, a World War III. You may even hear yes, in this script, the announcers, I keep saying may. Remember, I'm dogmatic here. Dogmatically telling you what my fourth option script is for Super Bowl 57 in order to line it with the numbers and tie it into the Bible and explain why. The announcers make reference to a battle. This has been a war of the 3-point conversions. This is they'll be like, the world's two best teams have been battling out in this war of three. These two best teams in the world are battling out here with this war of 3-point field goals, of all these dead sheeps being kicked through the uprights. So the 15-5 and the Eagles having 9, that already gets you your 24 points of field goals of the dead sheeps getting kicked into the up across the T, the cross, the T that they're kicking it through with the uprights on each side of it, the cross. There's your 8 field goals. There's your 24 points from the field goals, which means it's 1 point per dead sheep. And that could represent the 24 elders. It could also represent 12 apostles, 12 disciples. The woman with the 12 stars could be her disciples. Nevertheless, with the score like that, and they're getting ready to kick a field goal to win it, because after all, whoever the field goal kicker is, they won the game 20-23, to let you know that that's the year that all this is happening, right after the Super Bowl. And he kicked the game winner, but the game was tied. So if he missed it, they were still, they didn't lose. But this time around, they're already winning, but they have to kick it because it's the last down and the time is still on the clock, and they can't afford to just run it out. So then here's the dramatic miracle Eagles swooping down and up and over and blocking the field goal. As I said, Fletcher Cox, just for some reason his name comes to mind. I didn't even, because Jalen Hurts, he has nothing to do with this touchdown, because this touchdown would be a defensive touchdown and they would block it and run it back to the house. And then when they kick, would they have to kick would they even have to kick? Oh yeah, because they got to win the game. Yeah, of course. If they ran it back with no time on the clock, back to the end zone, and it's the first touchdown of the game in this battle of World War III point field goal conversions, I kind of really like that. I really like that script better than most of them, because of how dramatic it is in the end. There's just no way. You're not going to pick 15 points, because you don't get 15 points. So you wouldn't even pick a game. You would never think a game would even be 16-15. Because it's either 2 8-point conversions or what? How many field goals? And then a touchdown? and then the other team's going to have five 3-point conversions. You're telling me the Chiefs are going to have 3 5s in their name with the 3-5 field goal point conversions, which makes it 15 points, which is the same number as Mahoney with the jersey. Would be an interesting script to play out. And the Eagles win it by 1 when they kick their chip shot of the extra point. It would be pretty bad if the other team blocked that one too, and then they went into overtime. I wouldn't be able to take it anymore. So the Eagles win 16-15. The total is 30 points. They win by 1, but if you bet the Eagles and gave up 1.5 points, you lose. You lose the bet, but you win the Super Bowl, and you're like bittersweet because it's like, man, I just lost. But the Eagles won. Woohoo! But it sucks I lost it. But the Eagles won. And it's just a way of ruining. I really actually like this one better. It's kind of devilish in a way, but man, it's just something about Philadelphia that deserves to really get a bittersweet win, where you bet the game and you took the Eagles, but you gave up 1.5. You're like, the Eagles got this. And then it's such a dramatic game. It's messing with your emotions. It's twisting back and forth. It's a tie. It's this. It's up. They're down. The time's running out on the clock. You're going to need a miracle. And then a literal miracle comes out of the sky. And then I'm going back and forth with my video, talking about it, showing you the clip as to what happened exactly the way I was saying it, because I gave different scenarios, and then I finally picked one. And then this, I would explain, well, this is the video, the 5 different scenarios. This is the video I used to get hot or cold so I can get my final pick. Because just the fact that it would even be one of the 5 is still good, because couldn't you still bet 5 picks and put like $100 on each pick if you're willing to lose $500? What would you gain if you won one? Even if it's like 10-1 odds, you would get your $500 back, and then you would get like 500 more, even though you lost 4 times and you won once. Give up your $500, 5 of them, and then in order to win 5. So there's your $555 if it was a 10-1 odds. Oh man, so this is the nail-biting script where a miracle was pulled out of their hat, and you can say it's like it was a gift from God. The football gods gave it a gift. Now remember, there could be a false flag towards the end of the game that favors the Eagles, and with a false flag favors the Eagles at the end of the game, which causes the football gods to be really upset, and then he rains down fire and brimstone on Philadelphia the next day because of it. Yeah, you got the win, you got the victory. If you're a betting person and you bet the Eagles, but you gave the Chiefs 1.5 points, you got to ask yourself, how will the Chiefs lose by 1 point in order for them to still win? Because you got to maximize. When the angel of the bottomless pit is writing this script, you best believe every number, every play, every commercial, everything is filled. Even when the artwork, when you're drawing it and something else ties into that and it ties into that, you are not wasting space. And think about all the amount of air that I've taken that you have been listening to from the beginning. Think about the amount of airtime that I've consumed of your life. A lot. So he's going to utilize every possible, everything you see, every point, everything. So with it being 16 to 15, and there's a false flag, and then that false flag, just like the artwork, ties into the next false flag that's going to be for real in Philly the next day. And then it can be blamed on, maybe there was some guy really, really pissed off, or the coach or the players, or someone said some kind of threatening thing, and next thing you know, Philadelphia is getting attacked, terrorist attack, just like Andrew said before he pardoned himself off, like giving us the heads up of the event. And then for the next 5 months, people are being stung because Satan met his match. But guess what? Satan and the female in that commercial, when Satan met his match, she asked him, "Where do you live?" He said, "Hell." She said, "So do I." So that means the match was made in hell. And whatever plans people thought were between Satan and the woman that represents the above ground race, ruling the race, living in hell, and Satan's living in hell and rising up, the angel bottomless pit rising up. It's the resurrection of the beast, the wounded head. So that's my scenario, which is D4. D4 is not the hot pick. It's not lukewarm, but it's warm. Lukewarm is in the dead. That's C3 pick, even though it could be dead on, but for the sake of what I'm trying to do here, it would be the middle pick, and it would be lukewarm. Because A1 would be cold, freezing cold. You can reference freezing, anything cold. The coldest Antarctica references, it's freezing below the 32 degree Masons, not 33. The 33 would be the hot pick. 33 would be E5, because it's really 32.2, 32.4, 32.6, 32.8, which is D4, and then 32, and then 33, which is the hot pick. That's the last one, the fifth and final prediction that I have, which will tie into the second 9/11. It's going to tie into all the dead sheep being kicked through the post. And it's going to tie into, it's still only going to be one touchdown, just like D4 pick. It's going to be one touchdown. And the touchdown, again, it comes at the end, because it has to be a war of 3-point field goals. It's going to still be, the final score is still going to be 31. So regardless, I'm using 1 and 3 to definitely be in every single scenario. There's the number 1 and there's the number 3, because it's the 12. She's clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and the 12 stars above her head. And even in Pet Goat 2, there she is. She's sitting in a circle that's yellow like the sun, just like that painting around at my work with the woman on the right top with the serpent eye and a Statue of Liberty looking thing sitting in like a sun dressed. Maybe that's the 2 become 1. That's the 2. So in Pet Goat 2, she rolls back the apple to Obama, and the 2 become 1. So, but in this fifth case of scenario, this 5E option, this EE 5, 5, 50. Even if you show a 555 $50 bill 5 times, it's like it would be 5E. Just so you know what I'm looking for. There are many different various scenarios and options that you can do that I can pick up on. If you really wanted me to know, Lord, you would tell me. That way when it happens, you're going to hear this voice in your head when it's over and done with. You're going to hear it in your spirit, and you're not going to be able to deny it, because there it is. And this next scenario, check this one out. It's still going to be tight. It's 3-0. It's 3-3. It's 3-6. It's 6-6. It's 6-9 halftime. Doing all the halftime hoopla show. Come out of there, and they tie it up. It's 9-9. Then whether you want to go 12-9 or 9-12, it's just a back and forth defensive. It's a damn good defensive game. So the score is 12-9, and then here comes the field goal kicker. Oh, and also they have like this error. If the kicker misses the field goal for some reason, there's going to be a flag, like a false flag, regardless, in order to make sure he has a second attempt. But the truth is, in the scenario I'm picking, they have a you know how they blow the wind on us down here in this pit from above? Direct air energy weapon. There's this, you can't hear it or see it, but it definitely will help. As soon as the kicker, basically it's like this. All the kicker really got to do is kick the ball in the air. All you got to do is just kick it up, and the direction of the controlled airwaves will blow that ball straight through perfectly. There's so many dead sheeps you're gonna see being kicked over the cross. It's gonna make your head spin, because when a football goes like this and it's kicking, it's like the little deviants coming up as they're kicking the heads of the sheep that they slice off, kicking it through the field goal. So now you have 8 field goals. The game is tied. Stephen James Deshaun. The game's tied 12-12. It's even tied on my second debut on Derek Bros' channel, 12-12. It's even tied on the time I walked by to 17 JFK and said I want the water to shut off at 12-12. Then I said I needed to shut off at 3:16. It did it 3:16 before that, and then I requested it next time it did it, and it did it on 8:48, and it did it on 8:46, and it just did it on times when I walked by there and recorded it. 2 of them at request. So it's 12-12. It's the 4th quarter, and so here we go again. This time around, it's the field goal kicker for the Chiefs. He's walking up. It's the same situation. It's at the end of the game. They're in a comfortable position. They're getting ready to win Super Bowl 57 with a field goal, and that would make the final score 15-12. But the problem with that is the Chiefs win, and they win by 3, and the point spread is only 1.5, and it doesn't make sense. 27 points total. That doesn't line up with anything. Where does that come from? Well, that's why in this scenario, when you've already kicked 24 dead sheeps, because it's each sheep that's dead, that's or your battery life is going from 44% to 13. Battery life. Oh, man. I love Andrew, but you know what's going on here. No wonder why your cell phone is just battery life. Unplug the damn thing that's vibrating you. But anyway, so here's the miracle again. It still involves the miracle, and they get ready to kick the ball, and then here comes Fletcher Cox right up the middle, because Jalen Hurts, he got him as much as he could. And then as soon as the football gets hiked, they're getting ready to kick it. Here comes Fletcher Cox. He jumps up like an eagle with his eagle wings, and he swoops the ball down. He blocks the field goal. There's a false flag. There's a flag regardless, just in case if he didn't block the field goal. And that way, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a false start. If anything, it would be something. No, I know what it is. The flag wasn't called on Fletcher Cox because he was offsides, and it was basically a false start. Yes, it's a false start. It's an approachment of the defense. But they let it go. He blocked the ball. The Eagles picked it up. They ran it all the way back to the house and scored the first touchdown of the game. They kicked the extra point. It becomes 19-12. 19-12 is 31. It's also COVID. It's C, Abaddon, the Angel of the Bottomless Pit, 3. It's World War III. It was the battle. It was 8 field goals. It's 8 3-point field goals with the 2 top teams in the world in this war battling it out with the 3-pointers. And then in the end, they get the dramatic miracle victory win, but it's controversial, which is the false flag, and then that pisses somebody off because, because the Eagles won, and they won by 7 because they scored 4 field goals, and the Chiefs scored 4 field goals, and there's your 44 tied in with each team scoring 4 field goals as it's split with the landing zone at Heliport General Hospital, Bartow, Florida. The landing zone is a 44, but it's also a divide, as in 8, 4.8. It's 8 total, but it's 4 for each team, as they divide up the points of 3 each time, which gives them the 4 field goals, which is 12 points. And there's your 12 disciples. And then also there's your 100, and there's your 144 right there. The 12 tribes, the leader and his 12,000. Each 12 is 10,000, 10, 12. How many people do you get? I think it's 12, right? So there's your 12, and then just by that 12 alone, when you're dividing the amount of field goals there's 8 field goals, and the field goals even get you 24 points total, where you're dividing that 24, and it's getting you 12 each, and each with the 12 points, each team has 4 field goals, and therefore there's your 44, and also there's your 12-12 for both of them at that moment with the score. And then also you already got your 24 elders, you got your 24 dead sheep kicked through, because each dead sheep head kicked through is a point. So it's 24 heads, which will equal the 24 points total, even though you're getting 3 points every time you're kicking it, but it's like 3 and 1, 3 heads in 1. And then the Eagles win 19 COVID-19 sheep slaughter with 24 of them all together, splitting them in 2, which is the 44 helipad where I'm at. And then the game's over. So there you go. There's my 5 scenarios. I don't know if I thought of a 6th one. A 6th one, maybe the way, maybe it's just the way they score, but it's still going to be 31 points. Maybe one team has what? If you did it, so I'm going to finalize it there. There's your A, B, C, D, E. There's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's your freezing cold. There's your chilly. You know, chilly is not so much. It's not like it's freezing cold, but it's chilly. It's not really warm. It's not really lukewarm. Number 3, but it's 2. It's too chilly, is what it is. It's not really 1 as in freezing or cold. It's chilly. It's 2. It's warm. It's 3. It's 4 to be warm. Lukewarm is 3, warm is 4, and burning hot is 5. So I gotta leave it at 5 predictions now. And I still have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for the Spirit to answer this prayer. But if it was a different way with the scoreboard, you know, the one I do like the one where it's only a 1-point spread, and it's a way of the angel of the bottomless pit maximizing his win by, if you're the Eagles fan, you're going to have to bet against your team. You're going to have to bet against your team. That way you can win the Super Bowl. So you're going to have to actually take the Chiefs. I know it's a mental war just being able to, just for you to do that. If you're a diehard Eagles fan, you're going to have to take the Chiefs with that 4th pick. If you hear that I'm warm, if you hear that I'm warm, but if you hear that I'm hot, burning hot is, you know, it's hot, it's burning, it's boils, references in the Bible, it's lake of fire, it's burning fire and brimstone. It's any of those references would help for anybody that wants to help out with this, because I think it's a good idea to make 5 different gauges of hot or cold, because that's what God said in the Bible. He said, Robin, don't be lukewarm like the others. I wish that they were hot or cold. So just keep predicting, keep doing it, you've already conquered the cares of the others that are watching, because that was the whole point of the porn thing anyway. My mindset is to do something that I know these spirits are trying to tell me not to do, because, you know, they're surveilling me. And I would say, well, if you don't like it, close your eye, watch something else, because nobody has to watch anything, do they? And then, so I got that out of the way, because I just wanted to make sure that you know that you're not gonna, I'm done with you making me feel uncomfortable in my own skin, Satan. I'm finished with it. So there's that. And I know what the threat is. The threat is slicing and dicing, beheading. Well, and, you know, burning your house down, and just everything and anything. burning your new car, burning your new house, burning your new this, burning that, everything's going to burn. Is it really going to burn, or is it just going to burn for me? Because I won, and I just got to walk it out, and Satan's time is up. And one side just ain't going to go quietly, and the other one is going to, well, he's the one that caused the divination in his house. Because he heard a voice in his head that was speaking to him. It was a dead sheep. So the last, if it was the fifth one, or if it was number 4, because the last one, I like that one too, because it lines up with the 44. You have your references of the 12 apostles, the 12 disciples. You got the 24 elders. You have the dead sheep. You have all the ones that are dead sheeps, women, and you got your 12-12 reference in there. So you got, as soon as anybody sees 12-12 on the scoreboard, what are you going to think of? You're going to think of Stephen James DeShawn. If you see the final score that I'm saying when it's over and done with, who are you going to think of? You're going to think of Robin Henry Tees. So my prayer is to get this right and just watch the destruction of the temple. Oh, the last one, I forgot to add the icing on the cake. The 19-12 score, Eagles over the Chiefs, Super Bowl 57. Because it's the COVID, because it's 19, because it's the sheep, because it's the slaughter, because there's your 8 reference, there's your 3 8s, because it's 3. It's 8 3-point conversions, so it's 24. And you got your 19 and you got your 12. You also have in reverse, you have in the title, in the final score, the final solution, you have second 9/11, because you have 19 Eagles and then 12 Chiefs. You got your 1-9 and your 1 and your 2. Doesn't matter if it's from front to back, left to right. What matters is the fact that it's second 9/11, and the very next day comes the second 9/11. So just like if you went with number 4D and you bet the Eagles and you gave up 1.5 points to the Chiefs, and you only won by 1, so you lost your money, but you won the victory. I'd rather the Eagles lose the Super Bowl and win my money, but that's the bittersweet. That's the eat up this little book. Take this book and eat it up. It's going to be very sweet in your mouth, but it's going to be bitter. It's going to be bitter because you're going to win the Super Bowl, but you're going to lose your money. And what do you care more about? Money or a damn trophy that other grown-ass men are going to hoist up because they followed their script perfectly? Because this is all an act. And every last play is designed by the angel of the bottomless pit. And then that would consist of Liberty 1, Liberty 2, the William Pentagon building, and 17 JFK Chase Bank.